What's up, everybody, and welcome to a Press X movie discussion slash review for Wonder Woman. So I just got back from Wonder Woman. I went super spoiler free with this movie. I didn't watch any clips except for one. Beforehand, I watched the trailers, and that was it. So I was going into this movie as blind as I wanted to. I didn't feel like I saw too much. And I feel like that is important to set the stage for this, only because my expectations weren't crazy high or super low. As far as reviews went, I didn't watch anything except for look at the Rotten Tomatoes score, which is very high, and its Metacritic, which is also pretty darn high. So I went into the movie, sat down to see Wonder Woman, and this is what I thought. First, spoiler free, and then I'll go into spoilers. So spoiler free, I like the movie. I don't really understand the amount of praise it's getting, to be dead honest. I think it's more people are happy with the direction of the film rather than the film itself. DC clearly listened. Warner Brothers is clearly listening. It is very obvious that they did a correction with this. They did lots of corrections with this, from things like the tone of the film being a little bit happier. The colors are a lot brighter. The trailers didn't reveal the entire movie in order. Like, they're listening, and I think people were very happy that they're listening. With that said, I thought the movie was fine. Like, I didn't think it was incredible. I didn't think it's definitely not bad. But, like, I thought it was fine. I'm going to talk about some highlights, spoiler free, and then I'll go into spoilers. But who should see this film is something I like to talk about. If you like DC, you've probably already seen this film. It doesn't matter. Go see it. If you like Marvel and not so much the DC films, I say go see this one. It's a little bit more in tune with what you probably like in a movie. The movie is more fun, and the movie actually has a decent script and is written well, unlike what I thought of Suicide Squad, where I think both those things were issues with that movie. So yeah, Marvel, I think you should give it a try. If you don't like superhero movies or anything like that, maybe you like a few of them here and there, I honestly don't really think you need to go see this one. I don't think it does that much to warrant the ticket to go see if you're really thinking you're not going to like something like this. It doesn't reinvent the wheel. It kind of goes the formulaic route, but like I said, that's different for DC. And I really think they're getting praise for that, even though I personally do not like the route that they're going, but we'll see. I'll talk about that in spoilers. Once again, spoiler free. I just want to go over some characters and talk about if I like them or not. Gal, I thought was fine. She's definitely, as Wonder Woman, great. I think she's great as Wonder Woman. As Diana, I think she's very good, but she's also not given that much. Like, there's not too many huge and low scenes that she's like jumping between and everything. She's kind of her line. It's not a very difficult role to play in this particular movie, to be honest. So with that said, I think she's serviceable. She does the part well. But I also think, minus looks and her Wonder Woman performance, the Diana Prince performance could kind of just be anybody, to be honest. Now, somebody who can't be anybody is Steve Trevor, and I thought Chris Pine knocked it out of the park. I think he was the best part of the movie. I think he's definitely the best acting in the movie, and I would say he's the highlight for me. Then that's really all I want to talk about. Like, there's other characters and things, but I really think that it's their movie and they're the ones to focus on. And so, yeah, I have some issues with the movie. Like, I think there's a little bit of pacing problems. I do think the movie's 2 hours and 19 minutes, I believe, something around there. I thought the movie went fast. Most of the group that went to see it with me thought the movie went by quite quickly. Only one person thought that the movie was slow. So that's pretty good as far as pacing and things go. So like I said, yeah, check it out. If you're interested, go check it out. If you like DC, if you like Marvel, all those things. But if you don't think that you'll like it, or you don't like superhero movies, I don't think this is like Batman Begins, where I'd be like, no, check it out. Like, you might actually like this. I think it's a superhero movie. So now I'm going to go into spoilers, and I don't have anything written down. I just saw the movie. Like, this is going off the top. So I might sort of ramble a little bit here, or repeat myself, or maybe go off topic a little bit, or not say something I want to say. But that's all part of how I'm doing this, because I just wanted to just kind of talk about the movie, talk about my feelings, more so about the direction of DC than this movie in particular. But, so, spoiler zone. Give you guys a second to click off. Are you gone? Are you gone? Kind of talk yet? Spoilers. Here we go. So like I said, I like the movie. It's good. It's fine. I personally would actually put it definitely below BVS. I still think BVS is the highlight. Probably below Man of Steel, at least even two. And then Suicide Squad's down below. And I think they listened to the criticism, and that's good. But they dialed it up too much. There was characters that I felt like didn't need to be in this movie that were in the comic relief characters that were in this movie just to kind of be a comic relief, or to have them from the comic books. And I thought that that was a strange choice. The secretary did not need to be in the movie at all. She had a couple lines. They weren't great lines. She delivered them fine, but she felt very disposable in the whole movie. The half of her conversations were via like phone and just like flashing back to her and showing her say, dispense her punchline and then back to the action. It was a little bit strange and a little bit jarring whenever it jumped to her. I thought that their little ragtag team, I liked about half of it, or I at least liked half the elements of the team and not the other half. I thought like the shell shock PTSD type thing was awesome for Charlie, I believe his name was. I thought that that was a very good storytelling device, and they did a good job with it. And the fact that he plays piano, music, and stuff, all that stuff was great. But like his look and his attitude, I thought was a little bit unnecessary. Like they could have made him a normal-ish guy, and it would have been fine instead of going kind of crazy, funny, over the top. So yeah, I thought that I liked about 50% of that team. I think Steve Trevor steals the show and the movie. I think that the pacing in the beginning, the Amazonian, I thought that the acting on the Amazons was I think it was because they were trying to match Gal's accent and still sort of act in their own culture that they've kind of made up. And it was a little off to me. But anyway, I think that the movie pacing was off until Chris Pine showed up. I think once he showed up, the movie became a movie and not a slideshow, and we got kind of what we would expect. I really do think that he is the glue, and I think that without him, this movie could have been bad. But I think he held his weight very, very well, and he played his role very, very well, and he stayed in character the entire time. Not like acting in character, but I mean, his character arc made sense. He was always fighting for what he believed, and it stayed morally correct the whole time, to him at least. And like I said, Gal, she wasn't given that much heavy. She had a couple like crying scenes and stuff like that, but she wasn't given that much heavy lifting, and her Wonder Woman stuff was great, and that's really all I can say. I thought like her action scenes were awesome. Her lasso was fantastic. When I found out she was pregnant during the filming of this, I was like, that's pretty incredible that they were able to do all this with her being pregnant. But I loved like her lasso fights and everything. I love that theme song when she's beating people up. But like I said, I Chris Pine, it's not his movie specifically, but man, it's there. Like he's right there to take the movie from Gal. And it's like I said, some people I was with thought that he did. So that was pretty big. I thought that since we're talking spoilers, I thought that his death was missing one thing. I was very close. I was like, man, this is super emotional. They're getting me. They're pulling me in. I'm believing it. This is awesome. And the only thing that I wish they did was at least show the hand with the gun, pull the trigger, and then the explosion. I think that 1 or 2 extra seconds of that would have cemented exactly what happened and that he actually did sacrifice himself. As opposed to them doing the off-camera shot, which made me, in my mind, be like, well, now did he parachute out Like, is he actually alive now? Is that, like, it put that in the back of my mind and took me out of it a little bit, as opposed to at least just seeing him pull the trigger and me being like, okay, he's gone. And that would have got me. That would have got me right in the feels. But I was on the borderline, and then I was like, oh, it just didn't do it for me. Though it was still a fantastic scene. Let me backtrack. I shouldn't say didn't do it for me, but I think it could have been better. As far as the actual plot and everything of the movie, I thought it was fine. It's pretty bare bones. I liked the twist, if you want to call it a twist, of Ares. I thought that was interesting. Makes the superpower stuff that they were giving the other general a little strange. Maybe they should have distributed that to some of their men, if it makes you that powerful, and be like, hey, if our plan is to actually kill, maybe we should, like, produce this a little bit more. Maybe I missed something in there. Like I said, I've only seen this once, but that seemed a little bit strange to me when we found out that he wasn't actually the god of war himself. One thing I did actually like was Dr. Poison. Now, just because she's named Dr. Poison, it gives you this assumption that she should have this huge backstory, and she needs to, because she's a super villain name, but she wasn't really the villain of the movie. She was kind of just a character with a name, Dr. Poison, and she was more Steve Trevor's enemy, while Ares was Wonder Woman's enemy. And I thought that was really smart, to have the human kind of go up against the human and the god go up against the god. I thought that was interesting. I really liked her. I wish she said more than 4 lines in the movie, or however many lines she said. It felt like 4 lines. I wish she talked a little bit more, because I did like her, but I thought it was very clever to have her be more of a Steve Trevor enemy than a Diana Prince enemy. As far as the Zeus's daughter thing, anybody who reads or at least follows some comics probably knew that she was Zeus's daughter, at least even going into this. And if not, when they were like, ooh, she can never figure out who she really is, when they said that in the trailer, I was like, well, she's clearly Zeus's daughter, and the lightning in the trailer didn't quite help me not feel that way. I did like that they kept Ares a secret. I thought that was awesome. They listened about the Doomsday thing in BVS, and they kept him a secret. Very job well done. I thought that was good. Some people complaining about that ending part being a little video gamey. I didn't have much of a problem with that. I actually thought Ares' armor and everything looked really cool. I thought it was pretty true to the comics, and I actually enjoyed the Ares scene in the movie. I did question the fact that she was so set on killing Ares and then killed not Ares, right? And then was like, why is man still fighting? I don't understand. And Steve's like, maybe men just aren't good. And he kind of planted that bug in her head, which she talks about in BVS. And then the real Ares reveals himself, and I was kind of surprised she wasn't like, oh, maybe if I kill Ares, man will be good. Like, that's literally her whole motivation for this entire movie has been kill Ares, man will be good, kill Ares, man will be good. And I just thought it was strange that she legitimately drops that as soon as she finds the real Ares. Because I don't know, it just felt a little weird and convenient to me that she dropped that, because she probably should have rushed in and been killed by Ares. That's what would have happened, at least. What else do we have? Oh. So as far as talking about them listening and dialing it up, I felt like they went too far on the comedy, and this is something I've complained about, and many of the reason I don't like Marvel movies, and it's not because I don't like comedy in my movies. I think BVS's comedy was good. I loved It's a Bullet, you shoot people with them. Coach, Economy Plus. I love nobody wants to see Clark Kent taking on the Batman. I love those jokes, and I thought that they were very good, and they're just things that somebody would say, I guess is the best way to put it. It feels like a real person in a dialogue that they could actually have. And I felt like Steve Trevor had that. He would say things, and I would think, yeah, I would say that in that situation, or something along those lines, and that was really good. Though he did have a couple lines that I was like, it seems like you had that line written down for you, and you were just ready to shoot it out as soon as somebody came back with whatever they said. And that's the comedy that I'm not a big fan of. I like when the comedy is just naturally in the character. That character isn't only comedy, but they have funny moments. And that is what a person is in real life typically. And I don't like when there's a character that's only there to be funny, and I don't like when there's a character where every line they say felt like it was a scripted thing ready to, like a shotgun ready to shoot out of their mouth. It has to come off as natural, and I feel like Steve Trevor had that most of the time. There's a couple lines I would have cut personally from the movie. But some of the sidekick characters that I was talking about, they didn't do so well in that category, and I thought that they... I think Wonder Woman's ignorance of the man's world was kind of enough mixed with Steve Trevor. I thought that was enough comedy, but so be it. The movie theater was laughing at the jokes, which is always good, but there was no eruption of clapping and excitement that I felt when I saw something like BVS, where people were cheering when the Trinity showed up and things like that. And maybe there just wasn't a moment in the movie to do that with. I thought the probably best example of that was when Wonder Woman took down the sniper and destroyed that building and kind of walked out to the top of it, and everybody was clapping and cheering and celebrating, and she was standing tall on that building. I think that was a super strong and awesome scene. But I thought that would be a good like cheering moment or whatever. And I always like reading the crowds, and I'm gonna go see this movie again, and I will read the crowd in that viewing as well. But I was a little disappointed with the crowd's reaction to different things, minus some of the comedy. But yeah, I think that if you dial it back, I think they went too high on things like the comedy. I thought that the colors was really good. I talked about that. I think that they nailed that. I think you can have a contrast of colors and still have Zack Snyder's signature look, and I think that it's fine. I think Wonder Woman did a very good job with that. But I think you could dial back the comedy just a little bit, and I think you have your perfect formula. Now, I personally don't want something to get formulaic, but I think that they will have their formula to make all of their movies with, and their tone and everything. This movie was dark still, with showing people after and during the war, and having the PTSD and the showing the gas killing the people. Like the intros to both the villains were very strong. Dr. Poison killing the guy with gas, which I thought was actually a fantastic intro, and the general shooting that guy in the face. I thought that those were very strong, and like I said, dark. Like it was a dark story, and I like a dark story. I like feeling like there's a risk, like somebody could actually die. We know it's not going to be Wonder Woman, but Steve Trevor could die in this movie, and he does. Like I enjoy my movie knowing that there's at least a risk, and not feeling like every character is invincible. I don't want to feel like Superman's invincible. And that's kind of the problem with DC's superheroes in general. They're gods. They are so strong, and it's hard to make a convincing villain be able to go up against them without it being lopsided. Like, I feel like if you tried to do Cheetah or some like that style Wonder Woman villain, like Wonder Woman would just crush Cheetah. And it would be like Dr. Poison. Like Cheetah would have to be a side thing. And I actually think that's one of the problems that DC might have going forward and everything. And I'm interested to see how Marvel does it with Thanos. But their villains and heroes are so powerful, it is going to be hard to depict them in something that's not a cartoon, where you can get away with a lot of stuff that you cannot get away in live action. For instance, the background of a cartoon is usually static, or there's one or two people in the background of these cities. In live action, you have to have people like everywhere in the city, because it's a city and we know what that looks like. And when you don't have people everywhere like that, it looks very wrong when, the laser's tearing through the city. And then you get into the Man of Steel problem, where you're like, you're killing all these innocent people. There was a couple scenes that felt a little rushed in the movie. It's getting a little nitpicky at that point, but just scenes where, like, Okay, Steve Trevor ran up to Wonder Woman and talked to her like while she's fighting Ares, and Ares is, I guess, just hanging out. And Wonder Woman lifts the tank and is, I guess, thinking about killing Dr. Poison, and Dr. Poison's just sitting there looking at her until Wonder Woman's ready to decide, and then she runs away. Like, there was a couple moments like that where I was like, I'm going to pretend in my mind that these were either a little bit quicker or a little bit longer of scenes, just to, suspend my disbelief for a moment. I had to do that a couple times. It took me out of the movie a little bit, where I was like, wasn't Steve Trevor like on the other side of this huge lot? And now he's like with Wonder Woman, and now he's gone again and catching the plane real fast, man. I do want to talk about Steve Trevor's never give up attitude. I thought that was really good. He always wanted to help Wonder Woman and never wanted her to do everything for him. Like, she can breathe in that gas. We saw her just walk straight into it and walk straight out, and she was fine. He got incredibly close to that gas, which probably was not a smart idea. But she walked into it and out, and she was fine. Like, she probably could have taken care of that plane. I understand that it was timed, and I assume didn't know what the timer on the plane was to blow up and send the gas everywhere. But she probably could have taken care of it because she could breathe in the gas, and I think they probably could have thought of something, things like that. Another example is when she went up the trench ladder and like ran through the battlefield. Steve Trevor wasn't like, look at her go and take everybody down. He's like, all right, let's follow her into battle. You're doing your thing, and I'm going to help you as much as I can, even though it might not be a lot. I'm going to take these bombs, into the sky. I'm going to follow you on the battlefield. When he was cornered in the alley, he, knocked two people out. Like, he's not going down without a fight. And he's not letting Wonder Woman steal the day and just constantly save him. Lois Lane. So Lois Lane a little bit in BVS. She's fine in some of the other things. But I liked that he actually participated in a lot of those things, and I think it really helped round out his character and made him the likable character that he was. So, good job on that. Other than that, what I guess I'll just go into what I want from Justice League at this point. I think that with the positive reception of Wonder Woman, she's probably going to get a little bit more screen time. Like, they're doing reshoots right now. Maybe they'll add a little bit more Wonder Woman. That makes sense. I'm fine with that. I think that she's a great character, especially in costume, and I think we're going to get a lot of in-costume Wonder Woman in Justice League. I'm very excited. It seems like they're going back to Themyscira. It'll be interesting to see what's happened over all this time. I believe Themyscira has a mother box, things like that. So I'm very interested with what they do with the Justice League. I hope that they tone the comedy back down, have like no just comic relief characters and things like that. Ground it back just a little bit more towards the Nolan aspect of things. And then, like I said, I think you have your formula for movies. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed Wonder Woman. I think it is good. I don't think it is crazy amazing. At some point, it's not anymore, but at some point, it actually had the highest comic book movie Rotten Tomato score there was. It was tied with The Incredibles, and I think that is not, that's not true. Like I said, I think BVS is a better movie, and I still think BVS is going to be looked back fondly on. Now they've explained that photo, and they've done some things like the way she looks after she finishes a fight, where she kind of stands there and looks up at the sky, kind of almost like looking to Zeus. After her fight, she did that in BVS, and she did that in this, and I thought that was really cool. She's got this thing against drinking, where in BVS she constantly would put drinks down and like put them on, like someone would hand her a drink and she'd walk and put it on the tray, passing her and in this one she was handed that beer and she didn't take a sip of it. Like, the consistency with that thing, when you go back and watch BVS, and after we get Flash, where maybe he'll go back in time and we'll see that, or we get the evil Superman and we get to see the Omega Beams and we get to see the Parademons and the Mother Boxes and all this stuff. I think when we go back and look at BVS, it's going to fill in a lot of puzzle pieces that are missing from the rest of the stories. It was just a weird way to do that first, but I like the idea. So we're going to have to see how that all shakes up. Yeah, overall, Wonder Woman, I think it's my third favorite movie in the DCEU. It might be my second favorite. I'm going to watch Man of Steel again real soon and go see this movie again to kind of cement that. But what did you guys think of Wonder Woman? Please let me know in the comments down below. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Check out my gaming podcast that I do every Monday if you're so inclined and you enjoy video games. And every once in a while, I talk some comic-y book movies, typically, here on the channel as well. So if you're interested in that stuff, you can check all that out or subscribe to see it whenever they come out, because I'd like to do more of them. If you guys enjoy this, let me know. But that's it from me. Like I said, let me know from you down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll speak with you next time.